Yeah.
Game going. There we go. All right. All right. Got your picks in for tomorrow?
Yep.
Okay. Actually, how much I forget what they call it, like Rocky Mountain Cash or something like that. Because I guess you earn, they give you a like $1 or something, or
I
I
got
don't.
11. I got $11.
That's about what I got.
Last I
Yeah.
checked.
So I'll probably buy a T-shirt or something. Depending on that, I suppose. I guess, or
Yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure I can find something.
yeah. Um, I got some. I was looking the other day. They got a bunch of closeout stuff, so might be something in there. Actually, kind of speaking of that, I mean, I'm thinking about this summer actually getting my trials bike out and uh, building some just few little obstacles to sort of practice on the summer. Maybe get back, but kind of now the kids are getting a little older, back into a little bit of riding. And
Yeah.
if we go camping, go somewhere, and I can take it along.
Yeah. Well, and that would also be an easy bike to if Tucker starts riding.
Well, yeah,
Um, to
kind of.
follow him on as he's going around the track when he
Yeah,
first starts out.
yeah. I mean, he hasn't really shown a lot of interest in that. We gotta go. I mean, he knows how to ride a bike and all that, but uh, he'd go just bike riding more. But it's winter
You,
time
you know,
now, so
speaking of that, kind of along the same subject, they were talking. Maybe it was like a month ago, but they were talking about how the very first generation of STACYC riders are now starting to get into motocross,
yeah.
into the
Well,
pro ranks.
yep. Yeah. I heard one of them talking about that, and yeah, I don't. I mean, I kind of thought about talking about electric bikes a little bit on a stream. I wasn't planning on this time, but um,
Yeah,
um, I kind of was waiting for Derek to be in. Actually, I got something, sort of a topic, or actually something I wanted to ask him, and we can talk about it too. But and you might not be the best one to talk about, but flashlights. I am I am about ready to spend a little money. I mean, they're not that expensive by any means, but well, I mean, I guess you can spend a lot on a flashlight. But for like an everyday type flashlight, even though I don't use a flashlight every day, but like I have one that I like actually. It's kind of one of those tactical type flashlights, but just uses AAA, either AA or AAA batteries. And it's bright enough and been rugged enough, but now it's you can focus the beam and stuff like that. But it's kind of starting to fail in that regard, as in the little like focusing ring thing is all loose, so it doesn't. If you want it to be a spotlight or a little pinpoint thing, it just slides too easily. It's just like a friction deal. It wasn't a very
yeah,
expensive flashlight, but sometimes you need some just an easy grab and go to look under the hood of a car, or up to the attic, or just when you just need a flashlight, but it's not nighttime.
yeah,
Just to look at something. Um,
yeah,
Again, I have it right there on my bench, on my pegboard wall, with all my other tools that I want within easy reach, because I use them all the time. screwdrivers, metric wrenches, certain pliers, and of course a hammer and my ear protection. So I don't have to dig through drawers or go to somewhere else. So anyway, I have a flashlight there, and this is the one I have, and it's just failing. But I've just I've been kind of trying. You search Amazon, it's like there's bazillion and of them, and I'm thinking about getting more. My controller must be, but anyway. I want something brighter, so that's gonna mean one that's kind of like a charge. You got to charge, keep charge, and that's a thing. It's like, well, hopefully, if it's anything like my my power tool batteries, they basically stay charged. Well, for all intents and purposes, I'll say forever, because I use them enough that I use it, and then I'm putting it on the charger, and then putting the battery away. And I don't go more than a month without using one of the batteries in some form. I just use those tools a lot, considering I'm not a tradesman. So I'm thinking the flashlight wouldn't be a big deal. It's just I'd have to remember to charge it. But I don't know. I thought about, be a good thing to ask Derek, just because, well, he used to do the mechanicking thing, and maybe he had one that he liked. Then, of course, climbing them windmill towers, I'm sure that was always in his some kind of lighting was in his tool bag. Just wonder if he got a pros and cons and stuff. And I've been looking at other ones, watching videos of like tests, that like validate, like, well, this Amazon one says it's 10,000 lumens, and it actually only puts out 1,000, or whatever.
Yeah.
And stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of like the fry. It'd be a conversation almost a little bit like the frying pan. This one I am using, and then of course I have a bazillion of those Harbor Freight ones that I got for free. But they don't last. They're cheap. Kids use them. Like when it's warm out, they weekends. We'll let them run around in the dark, and they have them, and then they lose them, and they're gone, but they were free, so I don't care. But I found they aren't good for like every day. Like I have them in the car and then some batteries, because again, in a pinch, they're just fine. But I found they're not good for everyday use. Thought maybe, he'd have some insight in what he likes.
What I use is because I have one main one that I use all the time. It's actually is a Harbor Freight one, but it's supposed to be like a work light, like one of those magnetic ones.
Okay.
Not the very cheap free one. This one's like it's got 3 LED in it, swivels and stuff, and I actually use it for a flashlight all the time.
Okay, I have one similar to that I think I got at Menards a long time ago, and it's a little different because it has a head that tilts. That's just a one LED, like for flashlighting.
Well, no, mine has. It's like you described, except for it has 3 LEDs, not one.
Well, this one then extends and then can be kind of like a bar type work light.
Mine doesn't do that.
Okay. And
mine's more like in a triangle shape.
Okay. Well, and I have some similar to white, not exactly what you say. But and here's the deal. I like that one, but I guess here's the thing. I'm
Hello, Prim again.
Oh, hey. Saw ya. Oh no! Actually, we're talking about it's like the frying pan, but we're talking about flashlights. Spending an obscene amount of money on a flashlight. Well, not obscene, but obscene compared to just the gas station or inexpensive tool store end cap type of flashlight. But anyway, going back to those ones, and I've generally liked them, but here's my deal. I think I'm ready to upgrade to something that's a rechargeable, that's smaller like those, but rechargeable, and has like an 18650 lithium ion battery in there, mainly for the lumens, the light output. I mean, like
Yeah.
blinding, almost sun type output
Yeah.
is what I'm thinking. I'm ready to upgrade finally, because like what like what you're using, what I'm using now, um, take AAA, double A's. They just don't have the amp hours, the not wattage, um, the discharge, the amps. Yeah, the amps. They don't have the amps to drive an LED super bright. Uh, for
There there was a let's see. I don't know what I did with it because when I worked in Lex, there was a lot of nights, especially during the winter, where me and an engineer were the last ones to leave, and we had to shut the lights off, and you had to walk down like a 50-foot hallway in the dark, and he found like a very inexpensive one that had a lot of looms, but the thing is, I don't remember the brand, and I don't remember where I put it because I had it in my backpack, but I don't use my backpack anymore. So I don't know where I put it when I switched jobs.
Yeah.
So
Well, and that's
otherwise I would suggest it because if I remember right, it was the one I got was like $20, but like they were like inexpensive, but they put out a lot of balloons.
okay. Well, I mean, I'll if you happen to find it, I'll consider it, because I mean I'm considering spending up to like $80 on this thing because
Yeah.
I want something.
Well, these were like so these were inexpensive, but they're also ones that you could like if you wanted it for a tactical like to put
y-
it on a gun.
Yeah,
Um,
and of
you
course
you you could mount them pretty easily.
yeah, of course I'm just looking for, again, not because there's like ones that are like the old mag lights and such, which I had. Well, actually, I know where mine is. It's in my it's in my Valiant.
Yeah,
But that thing takes 4D batteries, and of course it's
yeah,
not near as bright as things today because bulb now. But kind of trying to square this up, drive a little. But
yeah.
uh um but I find myself using a smaller, like, and I use the word tactical as in that no bigger, that kind of, and honestly smaller, almost pen light shirt pocket type be something I'm looking into well. So and that's why I think it's time to upgrade to chargeable. But I want, and I'm usually wanting well, not really pinpoint, but not, I don't need a floodlight. I need more focused.
Yeah,
Yeah, because a
yeah,
lot of times it's under the hood stuff, or again under the house or cabinet. I'm grabbing this thing to do little work, and being fairly lightweight is good too. Like Premigan says, "Hi guys, flashlights, yeah, the LED workshop drummer like candy is like free." Yeah, well, I mean, we have a we have a we were talking about, we have a, it's called Harbor Freight. It's a tool store, and in it, well, has more value tools. I mean, they have some good stuff, then they have some crap stuff,
yep,
and that's kind of what Chris is talking about here. He's got one that he likes from there. I have a bunch of freebie ones that they give you a coupon, and it's like, buy an item and they'll throw in these flashlights, and they kind of quit doing that as of late. But I have so many of those, but those just really don't last. I'm not talking about the batteries that you drop them once or twice and the aluminum bends and the cap doesn't go on, or the switch just quits. So, but I have this tactical one. It's not the tack light like you've seen on the seen on TV, but it's a knockoff of that or some other brand, like Lightzol or something like that. But it's near identical to that. And in general, I've liked it, but again, it's wearing out. And I'm tired of replacing batteries just to get good light output. Batteries really aren't dead. And I guess what I was saying, it didn't matter. I'm talking about maybe spending upwards towards $80 on something if it's going to be have bright like the sun, and have the switch is going to have durability and recharge cycles. I just don't even know which ones to begin to look at without a little bit of. I know there's some guys who test these things, and I like Project Farm.
Yeah.
Again, it's not high on my priority list of tools to get, but it is kind of like on a wish list thing, because as of late, I've been cussing this flashlight, which I don't have any problems with, but I was just for our trip last week, I was just at home later and the sun's gone down, and I was just in the car out, tires, oil, looking under the hood, just make belt isn't ready to fall off, or something, just things, and thing I had, it started flickering just a little. I hit it, means the little battery contacts are getting there, and so I'm like, okay, well, it's about time to look for something different. And we have one for in the house, but again, it stays in the house. It doesn't go out. We have now rules around certain tools just stay in certain places no matter what. Because that's why flashlight situation is kind of the way it is I'd always be going out to the garage to get something for in the house, and then I'd leave it in the house, and then when I need it in the garage, where the hell is it? So, like, I have screwdriver. It's literally another 20 feet to go out to the garage sometimes, get a screwdriver, but there's a set of four basic screwdrivers in our laundry room for when you just need, to take those stupid battery covers off of the toys nowadays.
Yeah.
I bought a cheap, inexpensive, the correct size screwdriver, and it's in the drawer with the batteries for all the toys, so it's just there. Same with a pair of side cutters. But anyway.
Yeah.
But this again, this flashlight will be one that'll stay in the garage. Yeah, well, again, I was hoping Derek would be in just because he might, and where he's self-employed and what he kind of does, he might have a flashlight he likes, because he'll be something he'd depend on.
Yeah.
It's like a mechanic doing day in, day out. You need to look things. One of them costs, okay, I'll read. One of them costs 40 to 60 euros out of a machine. Oh, so you got like tool or supply vending machine. Torches. Half a day. Yeah. Trying to think of other things like that I'm sort of looking at recently, just to improve quality of life. I guess.
I'm kind of, well, it's not to improve quality of life, but I don't remember where I put my socket set. I think it's in the back of my car, but it wasn't there last. when I went to go, was it when I went to use my tools last? Because I usually keep them. I keep the main set in my pickup,
Yeah.
and I keep an extra set. I have an extra set for the car in case I ever need it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't remember if I use my main set of sockets in the car and just put it in the trunk, or if I was traveling and thought maybe I better have that set with me, and I haven't put them back. So I may be looking at buying another little cheap
Yeah.
set of sockets again.
Well, you bring up a good point there. That's something I did, especially when we got these bus cars. And I've kind of always done this, but these definitely had some different requirements for, for the road for the potential roadside repair. I made sets of just stuff that are pretty specific to these. Like, I mean, here's a good for example. Cars is Acadias, they, and other cars are more and more like this too. But the battery is under the floor. All right, in the back seat. There's a panel, get it out. But here's the thing: the panel comes out. It's one Torx screw. Not a Phillips head screw or anything. Something normal. A Torx. I think it's a T25. And I'm like, oh shoot, battery happened to crap out on where, and I couldn't get it out to replace it if I didn't have. So what I did is I bought just that size Torx and a handle, like a screwdriver, $8 or whatever, $6-8. But that is part of those cars tool sets, because kind of an important thing if you would happen to have battery troubles where you need to actually one screw prevents you from taking to get even accessing it. Forget taking the
Yeah.
cables off. And of course they're just a normal half-inch. Else, finish that.
Yeah, we got the other side of the
Across the
road
road.
yet.
But so there's that, and then again I have a battery wrench. Some actually they are no they're but like for example Impala side post. So I had an 8mm ratcheting wrench for that side post. Stone specifically for that car for doing that, and it is. And then like the belt removal tool, for getting at the temperature tensioner, to replace a belt on the road, which I've had to do a couple of times in my life. So I just buy that stuff. And then I do have a basic socket set, and then I don't have a huge.
For a little bit yet.
Yeah, I was gonna try to drive right out on this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, and then two screwdrivers, flathead and Phillips, that's the correct size. And let's see, a few. I'm trying to think. A pair of pliers, a side cutter, some zip ties, of course, a roll of duct tape, electrical. It is kind of the bare essentials, but it's everything. Because again, these newer cars, some things that are going to leave you stranded is some electrical part that you gotta get to a parts store yet. It isn't kind of
Yeah.
like the older cars where we could kind of baling wire and bubble gum back together a little bit, or get them going.
Yeah.
Bad you've had troubles and something wouldn't be able to. I have too.
Yeah.
And I guess the other thing, and this seems weird, is I do care for in each vehicle, and I bought the cheapest brand. If I was replacing it, like as a preventative, but I carry in every car brand new fuel pump because they're in the tank. So of course, unlike the old cars we used to drive, where you could replace that on the side of the road. Technically, have the car with you, just V8s and stuff. They just hang off the front of the engine, 2 bolts, fuel line and stuff. But these are in the tank, so obviously you're going to have a tow. Well, you're going to have a tow, hopefully, to a shop. Well, you have the fuel pump, and depending on the time of day and that, got the part, they can start working on it. You don't have to wait for parts. So I carry that kind of as an emergency part, along with, like I said, a serpentine. Carry a new one, or a lot of times what I do is I put the old one, as long as it's still good, in as the spare because it'll.
Yeah.
But of course, our old cars, they just carry fuel filters, plug those. Never happened to me a lot. It did to Derek a lot, but that's right. Paddington. That was fun. It seemed like.
Yeah.
But anyway. Yeah, so I was thinking about stuff like that, or flashlight made me think of it. Yeah, I probably won't spend $80, but if it's like the bee's knees and that bright as the sun and all that kind of stuff, I'd consider spending that money. But I'll probably end up spending probably near 30, at least near $30, something like what I think I'm looking for. I gotta. There's just so much. So I gotta find some review videos, has some real hard data shows.
Yeah.
It is one, I really like Amazon, all that jazz. And of course, I could buy them. I don't like, but the feel and how the switch works is a big thing to me on a flashlight too, and you just can't know that by online. So it'd be nice if I could find some of these in store, but that's like yeah, Premigan says the M10 sockets. Yeah, that's where they go. Actually, I never had a huge problem losing 10mm sockets. My problem was I'd wear them out, either the square part where they go into the driver, the ratchet, or I always used most of the time a handle. Square would kind of get wallered out, and they'd always be falling off. Or and I always bought 6-points, and they'd end up getting rounded off. I mean, even the good brand, I'd have some. If anything, it was the deep sockets that I for some reason temporarily lose those. A lot of reasons why that is. I kept them in a drawer, and I need to redo my storage. That's one thing I've done. It's an ongoing process, but put the stuff that I'm always getting at at arm's reach or where I can see it, and not in a drawer. I've reserved the drawers for stuff that I don't access. I've actually gotten rid of toolbox drawers because I just found I kind of don't like them. Like even things like, I think it's crazy, but the other last weekend, but like a weekend before, I made a mount to mount my shop hair dryer and heat gun. Because I find that I grab those quite frequently for reasons. Hair dryer for, well, drying paint and stuff, or
Yeah.
speed drying paint and glue and and whatnot. And then of course the heat gun. Recently, lifting graphics or softening stuff. But I had them always in this cabinet, and I'd have to move a bunch of stuff to get them out. And I got to think, why don't I just make kind of a holster for my hair dryer and
Yeah.
so far, especially the hair dryer thing, because again, you wouldn't believe how often I use it for stuff. Well, it's mostly because Tucker's been crafting and kind of sort of model building, I guess you'd say, and tries the glue faster patient. That, and there's some other, well, and like my masking tapes and, well, duct tape, electrical tape. I made little pegs, and they hang on there right in plain sight because I had those in a drawer or actually in a rack, and I kept having to move around other tapes that other specialty tapes that I don't grab every day to get to these. And it's like, why don't I put the 3 or 4 most frequently used tapes on pegs, and they're just right there. It's changed my life almost in a way. It's just improved workflow when you just need a piece of masking tape to label something. Again, the kids, well, we bought them a box of cheap tape, like Amazon Basics Scotch tape, because they're in the mode of taping, boxes together and paper together and hanging stuff. I went through that phase. They're building stuff with Scotch tape and cardboard and construction paper. So they have a whole case of tape and a dispenser. So basically, I'm taking that approach. Like, I want it right there so I can just get at it. Same with little tubes of super glue. Just the cheapo, get it at Harbor Freight. Fixing them.
Yeah.
Doing that. Been trying to think of a different, better, more efficient for workflow. Got a 41 millimeter emergency, trying to open automatic piping. Yeah, well, was he not using an impact socket? I mean, yeah, I've broken, chrome vanadium steel sockets using them with my 3/4 impact, because not impact rated. That was mostly on the farm, but yeah, the small sockets I've worn out, like the 8, 10, and 12s. Those are the most common, especially working on motorcycles and stuff. And it's not like it's because you're horsing on them, use them a lot. They kind of start rounding inner part. Same with screwdrivers. I've worn out screws. Not this set. This was a better set. Not that it was high end, but then I do have impact driver, and those are designed for that. That was another. I had to screw as I had this drawer, that deep drawer full of drivers. I'd only ever really dig and get out about 3 to 5 different sizes. I had probably 40 screwdrivers in there of all different sizes and different qualities. I mean, I did keep a bunch of flathead ones, if pry bars and chiseling and scraping. Good ones. I don't do. I do miss this set of wooden handles. They're still out the phone. Not mine, so they feel so good in the hand. That's why I liked them. From the they're from the I guess I didn't anticipate getting on a full sub. That's why I wish Derek was here, but kind of wanted to talk about Supercross just a little bit.
Well, we can.
Uh,
I haven't gotten a chance to watch much other than the first, and then I did finally find out that the mud race did record, but the last two for some reason have not.
well, yeah.
Which is kind of a bummer because I wanted to see why Jet was mad at Jason.
Well, we watched that race, and of course, we had to watch it a day later and I don't know. I didn't really see anything that happened, so I don't get what was going on with that either, because call them getting tangled or anything like that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess what I was gonna say is, where did it? I mean, he was a good rider and had really good race like like one race, like Arron Plessinger. Like, where did he come from? He's just came out.
He's always kind of hung around at the top, but he's just never been able to kind of make that last hurdle to get.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
There,
well, yeah, but I mean, he was kind of a dark horse, you call it, just because kind of, the all eyes were on, Chase Sexton, Webb, of course, Tomac with coming back, and then thing, and
which shocks me that he did, but
and and then of course Jet, just hype there, and mostly living up to it, and like I said, the field is just so deep, but his name wasn't even in my brain thinking about all this, and yeah, and Anderson too, hungry, and of course Marsha's always up for winning a race too, or being up there on the podium, he can always pull one out, and of course Roxon, he's real inconsistent, but again, he can always pull one out too. You can't count him. You can't count him out.
And Marsha are both like that. They can they're up there, but every once in a while the planets align and they.
Yeah. Well, I guess what I'm saying is after all those people, and what is that? That's almost 10 riders. Who else is there? It's like, oh, this guy named Arron Plessinger. And again, he had a real good showing. I forget when, but a race last year, but yeah, he was always kind of up there. Well, of course, Dylan Ferrandis, he could break out too. Good rides last year. That's why this fantasy racing, it's tough to pick, because Jet could pull a win out, so could Mac, and of course Sexton's being real consistent, where he was always consistently leading and then throw it away on the last 2 laps, he would beat himself. And Webb was again, consistent. I mean, he got the title, had the title, and of course, Roxon could have one good start, and then he'd win it. So I mean, you don't have, the guys, they're consistent, but then they're inconsistent in actually where they finish. So it's like you can't. How do you pick them? I don't know. I don't have a
Yeah.
secret. I'm just, well, this feels good. I generally always have
Oh, that's
Sexton
it.
up there, though.
That's what's is really driving me nuts about not being able to watch is I can't get a feel for who I want to pick.
Well,
You
maybe
know?
search YouTube. I mean, I haven't, but I'm sure. I mean, it'll get taken down, but day later, whatever, it somebody will bootleg it up to you. Maybe a place might be able to consistently. I know I've seen on some. Actually, maybe what you should do is join. I'm this Everything Dirt Facebook group, because people post a they post a lot of opinion, so you kind of get a feel for what the popular opinion. But then also sometimes people will post like said, "Oh, hey, if you missed the race, go channel they have it or something." I, I I'd have to search. Maybe after we're done, maybe just do a quick search and see find a channel that's got the races up. That I guess that'd be your best bet. It kind of.
Well, but they should be on. It's and I don't think it's Hulu's fault. I think it's whatever channel normally I catch them on. It's just not doing something right.
Well, see,
Or they just haven't carried the last couple for whatever reason.
I would think on Hulu they just be on demand after they air.
No, you have to record them, and then it's just like so you set it to record, and it's
Well,
supposed to
here's the thing.
it's supposed
Maybe you
supposed to
ought to
already search
just
them out for
maybe you
you.
ought to just bite the bullet, spend $5 a month just for the season, and then cancel it for Peacock.
Well, but that's what I did for motocross last year.
Yeah,
Is
that's what I
I
mean.
spent $5. I spent $5 to watch the motocross races.
Yeah, because
But
that's what I'm
I'm
doing. I started my subscription up just to watch Supercross, and then I'll cancel it and then start it up again next year. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. Yeah, it is. You really do kind of need to see how they're riding. I mean, those mud races
yeah.
kind of just threw a monkey wrench into the whole series, which is
Yeah,
nice.
they
But
do all the time. That's anybody's guess at
yeah,
who's gonna do good there.
but even like the regular, dry races, it isn't clear that somebody's just gonna dominate, because and a lot of it, and it isn't even just who got the start either, because they've all been able to make charges to the front. And actually, heck, well, yeah, just last week, it was crazy. It was a battle. I mean, the pack was tight racing all the way back to 10th place. I mean, you had like Roxon and Barsha and Tomac and well, Ferrandis, and Stewart might have been in there, but I mean, all the top guys that are like top 5 in the points were somewhere in the top 10, just jockeying back and forth, and the leader, I believe it was Sexton. Yeah, he he was in the lead, but it was only like had a there was only a 2-second spread. We only had 2-second lead over second, and then second and third were a second apart from each other, and then fourth and fifth were only like a second and a half behind them. I mean, it was just like wasn't as spread out as the old races like where Villapoto or Dungy or whatever was just dominating, or Carmichael or Reed and Wyndham, just watching first and second place. No, it's almost like the production doesn't know who to follow because there's a race everywhere.
Yeah,
There's a race and a storyline to be watched from first to 10th place.
yeah,
Oh no, this is an awesome season. This is what I was always hoping Supercross could be, is 5, 6, 7 guys that could win a race every week. It's gonna make it tough for, say, like Jet, start, our to just begin a dominant streak, if he is supposed to be the next thing, the next, I won't say Carmichael and I won't even say Stewart, but like the uh, Bubba, but maybe the next Dungy or Villapoto, that kind of, because the other guys are just, like I said, he's doing good, but the other guys are just as fast too. I mean, it's just
yeah.
his story is he's a rookie and had that win, but it's not going to guarantee him. Even, this is, Tomac's definitely on the backside of his. So is Rocks,
Yeah.
but Webb, I don't think Webb's peaked yet. Sexton definitely hasn't.
Oh, I kind of thought Webb and Sexton were both on the kind of their backsides.
I think they're nearing their peak. I
They,
think they're nearing their peak.
because
Yes.
they've never really been one to like just come out, like come out and beat Tomac per se. They've been kind of ones like they I guess capitalize off of his mistakes. They they do good when he doesn't. They don't, but they're in the right spot when he doesn't. But they're
Well,
not like,
yeah. I mean,
but they're not quite. It's usually like the last few years. It's usually been Tomax to lose, in my
well,
opinion.
you're right, a little bit there, but I still, they're still young enough, that they're not over the hill, so to speak, age wise. But yeah, they're definitely on the older end. Younger kids are coming up, and I think a lot has to do with it. You say, you talk about the Stasic thing. You kind of brought that up, and they can start and practice a little earlier. They can do that in their backyard, kind of thing. But you also have the Supercross Future, which races at the Triple Crowns, and they've been doing that at least 2 years, not longer. So and that's a breeding ground to get into the lights class. So
Yeah,
they're already getting. They don't have to cut their teeth as much. Some of these kids that are gonna come up, like Hayden Deegan, but I'm talking about ones that are coming after him. Are going to have the benefit of not having to cut their teeth for at least 2 years before they really find their groove in the lights class. They can come out of that futures already understanding what it is to race under the lights and TV and all that stuff. And when they hit the lights, they've made some of their rookie mistakes already and more polished, I guess. Say experience, they're just a little more polished. All right, this is how it goes.
yeah,
I think we're seeing, especially probably with Jet, a hint of how the next generation is gonna ride. You're just gonna have good riders that are, in a way, almost robotic because they all train together, but they're just gonna all know how to race when they get that first lights. I think that's I think that's partly what we're seeing. That kind of training, the pressure, practice, future. And of course, it's getting more like NASCAR in a way where kind of pricing, or it's getting little less unrelatable to the average, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, not that it's ever be attainable by most people. People stuff. I think now it's like if you don't race, aren't consistently racing them KTM juniors and doing Loretta Lands and all that stuff. Age, I mean, even like I was thinking about it, it's like, okay, well, what if Tucker doesn't want to get into this and stuff and happens to be kind of good? I feel like, at 7 years old, he's already too old to start. If the goal would be to become the next, Eli Tomac or Jet Lawrence,
Yeah.
It's already too late. That's kind of, and I think that's kind of sad. I mean, yeah, Carmichael did start young, but he not as young as these kids are starting, and family wasn't a moto family nature. I just don't think that a thing anymore.
Yeah.
Not gonna have way back, you're not gonna have the bomb where they just, they had talent and then where'd you dump?
On the other side of that
I see.
shed.
Yeah. There's going to be less grassroots riders that come out of nowhere. It's going to have to. You're going to have to start at like 4 years old, 5 years old. For, if you want to go pro.
Yeah.
That's why we were nothing. But that's why I did like what we did or got to do. Fun. We knew we weren't ever going to be anything.
No, but we did more than I think we could. Than I ever imagined doing.
No, that's the thing. We got to do things I never thought we would get to do. Had to try, and yeah, you're right. I'm gonna give it up for the world. We got to do a lot of things with very little overall talent, and I mean, I guess you could argue we practiced. We didn't even really take it that serious. Yeah, I gotta say probably one of the highlights is probably the monster truck, because know who and it's all just because we you kind of got the contact, but we just kind of like, all right, we're just gonna do this hell or high water. Somehow we're gonna, like I had to take off time and work. I mean, so did you probably, and and that we had to invest some time and effort, and a little bit of money, but to do it,
Yeah.
it would have been easier to just say, that's a lame, like a lot of, because I mean, thinking back, it's like, most of the work was just fact. We had to get there at whatever in the afternoon, and then we were there till like 1 at night or 2 at night or whatever after the show.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't leave until they had that place cleared out, basically. Stuff like that. I mean, and the arena, like the arena cross that I did out here, and was kind of the same deal. Those were exhausting nights, and I guess that's where I get, like, you just gotta be vested in it, gonna be serious, because I mean, it's when I did those arena cross deals, didn't get out of there until after 1, because the show ended at like 10. Then everybody else is getting their you around everybody stuff, and work for, and even like the monster truck deal, work for those whatever they were 10-minute races or whatever.
Yeah.
Or whatever they were, and I'm glad I have video, but I still wish I had more listed girls or somebody to take some more video.
Yeah.
Well, and the rapid turnover, that was an effort for what it was, but I need to see how something like that kind of comes together. It was kind of,
Yeah, there was a lot of neat things about that one. Like I think about the director just coming down and just like hanging out in our pit.
yep. And again, I
Just
wish
he
we
just
had more
grabs a
pictures.
chair and just sits down and
Yeah, and even though he was kind of in the industry too, she was nice, to us and the people there, and he was trying to put together a good show. I just think the concept was a little half baked.
well, but it was, but it also like it would have helped if they just had kind of a game plan from the beginning, because it kept changing every week. It seemed
Yeah.
like.
Well, yeah. Well, and I guess the biggest thing is everybody brought their motorcycle, and that's fine. And there was those 3 guys that actually had flat track bikes, but everybody else was just whatever motorcycle like us. And the thing is, though, the dang ATV. And I know they got that guy sponsoring Chinese things, and they worked fine, but for what they were. But the problem is they should have, and that just went to show that, in the production, producer and all that, they didn't understand that part of the racing. They should have had all that stupid safety mechanism eliminated, because that's what slowed the racing. And then when you watch the TV show down, they had to cut around the fact that people couldn't get these damn things started because you had to hold the brake and do all this stuff, because they were recreational ATV. They needed to be more like your EX, where you could start that thing in gear and just take off if you wanted to. That's what they need. They needed to have set them up like that, so you could just thumb the button and go.
Yeah. I understand part of the problem is like these guys, they have dirt bikes and stuff. They're not going to have ATVs also.
Yeah. Well, remember, they provided the ATV. See, the guy.
No, I know they did, but originally they weren't going to, and I think the reason why they changed was because they had all these dirt bike racers, but the dirt bike racers didn't have access to ATVs, or they'd be like, well, why would I own an ATV to race when I'm racing dirt bikes? Why would I spend the money on an ATV to race when I'm racing dirt bikes?
Well, exactly. Yeah, most dirt bikers don't have a race ATV, and most race ATV guys don't have dirt bikes.
Yeah.
Or at least the appropriate dirt. Well, and then of course I bought it thinking I needed it. They were going to have the like a shifter cart. And it's like, and I knew something was a little up that way, because I was like, these don't run on dirt, but I guess if it's smooth enough, But
well, the other parts of the shifter cart was originally, if you remember, when I signed us up for that, there you were supposed to have like 3 different riders, a different rider for each discipline.
Yep, yeah, that's right. It was going to be kind of a
It
tag
was going to
team.
be a relay.
Yeah, a relay or tag team deal, which would have been interesting too. But again, yeah, they just didn't have their concept well thought
No,
out.
it just yeah, it just kept changing, and I understand some of the changes why they did what they did for some of the changes, but like yeah, it was just it had to change too much, and
Well, I feel like they made the right changes by just making it ATV dirt bikes, and then they got this guy to sponsor and get however many they got. It's just they needed to be prepped for uh for the how they were going to be.
yeah,
And it was obvious it's like they weren't going to get a Yamaha, Honda, or Kawasaki dealer to give new, put out new those. That's why it had to be the one they had. And again, those were fine. It's just they needed somebody to prep them and get rid of that safety mechanism for the starting,
yeah,
and make them more functional as a race quad, because they were fine when they got going. Yeah, I I feel like it could have been a lot better, organized, or when it came to the actual. And
yeah,
they needed to allow for some like, actual like practice, especially with the 18. They weren't going to have them starting. I mean, they did a little bit. If I remember, they did a little bit of that again. And here you're trying to you're sprinting next to a guy, and you get on before he does. You're just wanting to hit that button and go because you're on it first before he got to his. And you're ahead. And then you're behind because yours wouldn't start because you forgot to the, the either press on the brake or something. You had this complicated
well,
starting procedure.
I don't know, maybe I'm completely wrong, but if I remember, I thought like there was certain ones you didn't even want to be on. Like there was 1 or 2 of them, like I can't remember. For some reason, it was like I was thinking about you didn't want to get stuck with this black one that was like
Oh yeah, there was ones
parked
that
in this spot because it just absolutely would not start and you didn't have any chance.
that happened
You had to
too.
get to some of the others before you get to.
Well, and that's the thing. I don't know if these machines were actually even like broken in either, as I recall, it seemed like they were pretty much brand new. I mean, it's like they
Yeah,
started them and put gas in them to make sure it ran, but I don't think they were actually broken in. So I think that was another part of the trouble. I mean, that's almost the thing I thought after we got there, and it's like, oh, where they're when they said they're providing ATVs, and then I saw what they are, and they were all the same. I was like, okay, well, that levels the playing field that way. It's like, well, at that point, you might as well have tried to just provide the motorcycles too, and then it's purely rider fitness and stuff as long as the bikes.
yeah, because like you said, there was a few flat trackers there, and then there was every level of dirt bike rider.
Oh yeah, I mean, we were somewhere in the middle, but I mean, there was definitely guys that weren't very good dirt bike riders
Yeah,
there. And then again, there was the flat guys that could just haul butt, but then even they got screwed because of the ATVs a little bit.
yeah.
Um, yeah. Uh, oh hey, Vineyard Farm, paying attention. Yeah, ground. Had you made it in? Just chatting about some old motorcycle racing and ATV racing we and did some TV work and uh Monster Jam type of quad racing. Okay, so glad you're here. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, but going back to Rapid Turn. But it was neat to see, Speed Channel and their production crew and all the how they set up all the cameras for a race like that and a production like that and filming the rider intros and all that stuff. Still have the VHS copies, and of course I ripped them, and they're on YouTube. But of course,
we watched when Derek was back here last May. Aaron was asking. I can't remember if we were on YouTube and stuff, and I think Derek was trying to find he's like, well, let's watch something or do something, and I was like, well, we could. I doubt Aaron watched this before, so we could watch this. And so we watched. I can't remember if it was all the episodes or just one of them, but we watched them.
well, I recently watched them because going through again some of this old footage, kind of doing a little bit of re-upload, doing editing, capturing stuff, and I got more to do because I got all that. I got stuff that's off of my like the camera we took mini DV. So the one I took like the GoPro and stuff got all that kind of footage on there, and like our hair scrambling and stuff. And I need to get that recaptured because when we made a lot of that and uploaded a lot of that, YouTube was very different as far as the quality, their coding, all that stuff. So I could get a better quality upload of that stuff now because just better it's changed and viewing quality could be better.
Yeah.
That's kind of why I re-uploaded. Well, part of it was I re-uploaded that Children of the Mechanical God is because again I uploaded way back when, and then music got muted, and then thought I was gonna get my channel taken down compared to that, so it's like, oh, swap the music or whatever, and well then you lose you lose the parts that didn't have music in it and stuff. So I'm like, okay, well, I'll put this up, but I'll do it on my second channel. Yeah, it'll get copyrighted, or it'll get copyright claimed, but won't at least get taken down. It'll still be viewable. And I edited out a couple. It's a better version. It's been up there for or whatever when I upload that. And then I plan on maybe putting a little bit of the raw footage so you can hear the engine. And even some of the not as flattering kind of shots where cameras see it more raw.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it in forever either, but I thought I'll put it up there. Some of my fans, you'll like to watch it, like that again. Derek, like watch something. That'd be something.
I'll watch them. I'll watch them over and over again. Just very occasionally. And
well, that's the same with me. I'll watch them and like actually re-uploading this one. I watched it a couple of times. Actually, I edited this. Some of it I was like, oh, some of that editing was not too bad. Or whatever. If you think about the context and what we were trying to what we were trying to do, what I was trying to make it kind of like our own little crusty demons. It kind of works. Each segment kind of has its own feel or elements. And and threw in a little bit of party stuff and a little bit of variety. So, like, I used to think it was kind of cringy or lame, but now it kind of got a charm to it, or at least I think it does. And maybe that's just I'm in it, we're in it. I remember it, being there. I don't know if it has that same same feel to, you know, just some random watcher that.
No, it's nostalgic just for us as who lived it and just
Yeah.
maybe either forgot it or, you know, just like, oh yeah, I remember that.
I mean, I'm sure kind of be like, you know, we were like that, you know, like can at least, I guess the whole deal is to put it up there is because like other people can probably identify. Oh yeah, I remember riding back in the day and you thought we were hot shit, you know, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if we actually hot shit, but you know, we kind of like,
No.
we like to pretend we were, I guess. I mean, like the whole, you know, like doing the tricks and stuff. I mean, you know, definitely sarcastic there. It's like, try not to break any bones out here. It's like, you know, because we were on, you know, I mean, you had the new machine technically, but it's like we're riding 30-year-old bikes back then,
Yeah.
and you know, I'm still pretty impressed with my no-hander lander on that bike because that front end could have just wobbled and I would have went down, you know. But I didn't grab the bars. I let it go, you know. Well, that's the thing on some of these tapes. I did find some of the source tapes, and there's other footage. You know, of course, was adding during the floor just because, and you know, didn't fit. You know, all that.
Yeah.
I need to find and need to find the raw footage. Some of the trailer park and trailer house and Derek's. I know I have it. I just or the just the like the raw.
Yeah. I haven't been, man. You know, when I worked there, I used to not all the time, but every once in a while, I just head over to Juniata on that highway,
Yeah.
and then kind of go by, just kind of reminiscing and stuff. But since I haven't worked that way, God, I haven't been that way for 5 years.
Oh, I'm fully.
I think the last time I went that way was when I bought my car. So that's got to be about 3 4 years ago. Maybe it's 4 years this
Yeah.
June. I think that was the last time. Well, unless I did something where I got fish or something, maybe I did that. But
Yeah. Well, actually, the other day, thinking about, I was actually thinking about uh the Lear jets, and I was like, there is almost, I didn't have any pictures or anything, but that, oh, you know, surely by now somebody posted, you know, somehow somewhere, you know, pictures, because you know, it's like, I guess because it's just always dark outside and inside. I barely remember what the place looked like. Just or like going to PJs and stuff. I don't know why it popped in. Right? You know,
I
our
see.
regular hangouts. You know, well, I guess because you know it was after we were talking about Maxwell. So those things,
uh,
you know, into or shows. I should box. That's why. That's what I guess. That's what made me think of that. I was kind of thinking about some of those nights and
Yeah. I never. I mean, I went to Learjets or a form of Learjets, but I don't
well, you didn't
like.
go like when.
We did a couple times, but I don't. I didn't. It wasn't my regular spot to go to.
Yeah, well, I guess I was thinking more, and I was remembering more when I was in high school,
Yeah.
in the summers and stuff, and well, and even in the because in the summers Wednesday nights were teen night, uh, 16 through 19, maybe 20. Just there was no, they didn't serve any. Of course, that's before smoke. It was still a cloud of smoke because that's what kids would smoke, and came home
Hmm.
just speaking of it, and but Swanee would remember a lot of that because me and him, he would ride along. Okay? Me and the Brad and his friends, Al and me, and
Yeah.
Julie and that black gal. And
Nicole.
no, no, not Nicole. Oh, brother friend, drug her.
Oh, because
I want to say Jay. I don't even know her last. But
oh,
anyway, I guess done with it. But,
I, I don't. I I probably did at one point in time know some of her old friends, but uh, like the only one I know anymore is Nicole, and then like I know her. I know her new friends because they used to be her roommates, and when we go see her, then we got to know them. But
but anyway, almost, especially in the summer, it was almost every week. And
yeah,
do some.
yeah,
It's kind of funny. I can remember, we'd be me and on the farm, and during the day, and just waiting for the day to be over, kind of thing. What we had to do. Dad would be killed or some farm maintenance, carrying something. What we should go to Lurjet's tonight. you know. I remember thinking, you know, if we got, it would be only if we got the job done, so we wouldn't have work left over to tomorrow. It was always hell getting up on Thursday after that because
oh,
it's like
I,
it's an hour drive home, and it ended at 12:30, so we weren't getting home till 1:30. We really weren't getting the usually just reek, take a shower, so we almost weren't getting to bed till close to 3 o'clock in the morning. Just
my
because
my thing like that was always, like thinking about when you're getting off work or whatever, getting off the getting off the job was going fishing back then.
well, that's the thing. We would do that. Well, that was usually with Jeff and Derek, or just Jeff, and maybe Sean, maybe Mark had come along too. But yeah, because he worked for Calx and kind of on the same schedule as me. So sometimes if we didn't do that, we'd either, a lot of times what he'd do is we'd hop on, because we have cell phones. He'd call me on the CB and he'd say, I'm putting in, sometimes when you put down in Alamo, or he'd go over to Methodist, put in Methodist, then drive, and then he'd drive down to Hunters and uh, put in, because over there by the farm, unless the water was way up, you couldn't get in.
Yeah,
But yeah, I'd usually go to Hunters and park my car there and stand on the dock till he made it down there, and that's when he had, and a lot of times that was before he had his big boat. That was when he had that little 10-foot aluminum fishing boat. Sometimes Sean 3 was a max in that. 3 of us was a maximum. But yeah, we just fish. I mean, I never really liked. I mean, I fished, but he did. Whatever I caught,
Yeah.
I was just there for the Mountain Dew and the water, and after a long day on the farm.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he got his other boat, especially with Derek too, then we'd fish for a while, then we'd go skiing. Nights we'd stay out till dark and put a light out there. Dad were at so
Yeah.
unless we'd fool his mom and he'd say he was, and we'd stay out all night. Kind of like, well, were you along when we went down to Kensington and all that? And that was one of those. That was one of those kind of nights where he was supposed to be staying the night, and it went up somebody's house. That's kind of deal. That's when Derek got. No, Derek was along. Yeah, that's right. It was 4 in the morning. We drove around all night. We burned a whole tank of gas. That was in Swanee's white Camaro. I swear yeah, that means we drove like 300 and odd miles, and I mean, we left the county, but we went as far down as like Phillipsburg and over to like Kensington. Came up, well, over to Agra, I guess. Country road. If you follow it all the way up, it up with the dam on the. We were just gonna go back or to go to bed, and Eric's like, "Oh, dude, burnout up at the school park, concrete there."
Yeah.
And so he did that, and just kept it rolling, and turned out the street there, and then it hooked up, and then he just whipped it sideways, running that stop sign. And wouldn't you believe it? I think it was Mom, deputy, happened to be coming up. That's Division Street, coming up the street there, and whipped that out and just romping on it, and then whipped out onto the highway there, and then and then we parked right in front. It would have been right in front of like stopped us like right in front of Mr. Beck's house there on the highway there, and they're like, everybody out. He was like, everybody out of the car. We weren't drinking or nothing, so Eric was gonna it was a reckless driving or whatever ticket. We weren't gonna get anything, but we sat it out on the grass there, and because you couldn't stand in the street, and then all of a sudden their sprinklers came on. It soaked us. Because it was like 4:30 in the morning. And I don't know. I think Derek might have gotten off with a warning, and he just said, all right, guys, go home. Like the sun was coming up. That's how early in the morning it was. We went, and I forget who's. Oh no, that we were staying at Jeff's. His mom and stepdad and stuff were out of town, so we were staying there, and we went and slept a couple hours, and yeah, back when gas was like $1, just over $1.09 or something. I guess we didn't care. Yeah, we burned a whole tank of gas and didn't go anywhere. Well, that's the thing. Money still had to drive clear the hell back over to Stanford, you know? I only had at
Yeah,
least an 8-mile drive home. Yeah, Derek had a little. John still, what is that? Like,
yeah. Well, actually, to his house, it was probably more like 24, 25.
yeah, that's right.
Because it would have been beyond Stanford.
Yeah. I remember between the four of us, we drank like a case of Mountain Dew. Anyway, that was all before energy.
Speaking of blast from the past, a little bit of a change of subject, but Rob Zombie's going out on tour with Alice Cooper again this summer, and
Alice
they're
Cooper's
coming
still
to
around. Still,
what?
I mean, Alice Cooper's still able. I mean,
Yeah,
you know.
I think he's getting to a point where he's just kind of wrapping things up because unless our radio station just decided to drop him, I don't think he does his radio show anymore. Maybe
Oh,
he
Alice
does, and
Cooper
maybe
Nights. I haven't listened to that in 12, 15 years. I listened to it all through the 2000s and maybe early 20, because I used to listen to it especially working late out or something. Alice Cooper Nights at Yahoo of all. You know what I mean?
He was still doing it because I heard him. I can't remember when I don't know when they changed it, to tell you the truth. I know it was in the last year or two. But anyways, the reason why I bring this up is so the original. So for the last, I don't know, 15, 20 years, Rob has been using a guitar player named Johnny Five, who was at one point in time in Marilyn Manson. And when I'm going through some rock, I guess I'm going through some rock stuff here. It was when Motley Crue, when Tommy and Nikki were talking about kicking people out, they were talking about kicking Vince out, and I guess Mickey Mars didn't want to do that. And so then they turned around and they kicked him out, and they to replace him, they asked if Johnny Five would come from Rob Zombie and do the tour with Motley Crue, and just do that from now on. So he left. So Rob last year had he had already kind of done kind of a reunion kind of thing, except for it was only like for a song or two on stage. But with Riggs, his original, actually Riggs goes way back to White Zombie.
Okay.
And anyway, so they started touring together again, and then I just found out, they just announced it this week, that Blasco replaced the original bassist from White Zombie. So Blasco was originally the original bassist for Rob Zombie. Anyways, they just announced that he's coming back. So the only person that isn't back is the drummer. But basically, this is going to be a reunion of all the original members of at least Rob Zombie. Like I said, Riggs is originally from White Zombie, but the bassist and the drummer aren't. But
Okay.
Blasco and Riggs Like I've followed Riggs, so I kind of know what he's been up to and what he's been doing. But as far as like band wise and stuff, but
Yeah.
Riggs is the one that had the blood filled guitar.
Oh, okay. I know
And
that.
and yeah, and so in a way, this is kind of like a reunion thing. So I'm like super excited because like it's like this isn't just going to see Rob Zombie. This is like going to see the old band, sort of.
Yeah.
Like I said, the only person that isn't there is is a drummer, and I don't know what he's doing or anything. And then but I've seen Alice Cooper once before, so this will be the second time I've seen him. But well, I shouldn't say seen him yet because I don't know if I'm going to get tickets or not. Because I think I'll be all right. Like, so they did something weird. They released they released the whole tour except for Lincoln's, and Lincoln's doesn't release till next week. And I don't know if it's. I mean, I'll probably never know, but I don't know if it's because it was um like a secondary stop that they just decided to throw in there at the last minute, or if there's something else going on. But when I was looking at ticket prices today, um, and I think this is just ticket venues that buy the tickets and then try to resell them.
Yeah.
But I think the highest one I saw was like 500, and the cheapest one I saw was like 200. And I'm like, I am not paying that much to go see them. I'm like, I've seen Rob Zombie and Alice Cooper both together on a different tour, and I'm like, I am not paying that much to see him.
Yeah.
But I looked at some of the other spots on the tour, and um it they were a lot cheaper. So I think it's just a second hand ticket people that are
Inflating.
inflating the price. So I don't think I'll have to worry about it. But anyways, yeah. So I'm getting excited about that. I think I'm gonna go to that, and then kind of see everybody, or see the kind of the band reunion, so to speak, of sorts.
Yeah. Oh, kind of a little different topic, but kind of same. I going well. We were cleaning stuff up upstairs. Found a bunch of burned discs, CDRs, DVRs, and I found another Skull Crusher mix. This is Skull Crusher mix. I haven't listened to what it's on it yet.
You want to hear something funny? So it's like I go through it, not every day, but I go through like my Facebook memories when I think about it. And today happened to be the day that you posted.
I know.
Like, I don't know what year it was. But
I saw it because it came up in mine too. but yeah, I found another Skull mix. Well, and then let's see, Rob Zombie's Hellbilly some album.
Deluxe.
Yeah, Hellbilly Deluxe,
yeah.
Right? Which I wasn't familiar with any of this or listened to later. Some kind of later release.
Deluxe was one of the earlier albums.
Earlier, maybe, I don't know. I didn't recognize songs. And then let's see what else.
You probably just haven't listened to them in a while. So.
Well, that's probably it. Because I'm kind of, I don't want to say over, but I gotta, and it's I just played. I almost can't.
I was honestly in the same spot. I stopped listening to them just because of them.
I almost can't listen to Dragula and
I know.
And all of
I get it.
For whatever, Anyway, and then there was Scum of the Earth. There was that one you had burned from me, which I'd only probably listened to.
See, the name of band Scum of the Earth, or?
That's what you wrote on there. I didn't recognize
Okay,
it.
yeah. So that's Riggs's band. That's what he
Okay.
did. That's what he did after he left Rob Zombie.
Well, like I said, it had a very zombie feel. It was different, but it
It
had
did.
had a
It,
bit of
it
a
did.
zombie
Because
feel.
he 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 got kind of into writing. Well, he wrote one of the songs on one of Rob's CDs, and then after that, when he left or when they split, he started writing his own material, and it sounded very much like that stuff. That's kind of why I got into it, you know.
But yeah. Anyway, I put it in the car and I listen. What I do is I listen to the CDs when radio, whatever, talk or whatever goes to I
Yeah,
flip it over CD. I'm gonna listen because you know I heart commercial. It doesn't matter if you're FM or AM or whatever. All the commercial breaks are timed the same um and have about the same timing. So I know I can listen to about 2 songs a something. Doesn't matter what. That's what I do, and then go back. And then if, like I said, it's nothing I want to listen to on the radio, then are. But I had recently found the kind of rediscovering, I guess.
yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, it's funny. The Rob Zombie stuff, I just can't. That um, well, basically the early 2000s when he was super popular and almost mainstream, at least culture. I can't.
mhm,
Dragula, whatnot, Living Dead Girl. I just
yeah,
I almost can't. I almost can't listen. Well, and it's the same thing with a lot of Leonard Skinnerd. I cannot listen to it.
yep,
I have to. I
yep,
can listen to um, my vinyl, but I have to skip Freebird and Simple Man and all that stuff.
yep.
But like Working for MCA, all the B-side stuff, love it because I don't hear it on the radio.
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, I totally get it. You know, one of the things. So I like when I wake up in the morning. I like listening to, or I like watching YouTube videos because it's like having my own personal MTV.
Yeah, yes, and I do. When I do that, I usually have them on the background actually at work. And what's kind of nice, sometimes it gets a little repetitive if you don't interact with it. You interact with it a little
Yeah,
bit and pick out the stuff you really don't like, or you think something pops in your head. It's like I want to listen to that. Then you'll get a little bit more of something similar. So yeah, it kind of brings back some stuff you haven't heard in a while. I agree.
well, they were even worse than I heard about. Like, or at least mine is like it it tries to play the same songs over and over and over again, and like
Well,
I'm to the point like I'm every day, like when I make a playlist of whatever I'm listening to, I'm kicking the same songs over and over,
I noticed
out
that
over,
too.
so I don't have to listen to them.
Yeah, but I found the way to get around that a little bit, and again, a lot of it is YouTube. They just want you to keep on there, so they kind of think you want more and more. But um, is like if I hear, or it could be even a totally out of genre. So let's say I'm on more of that kind of metal we used to listen to kick, okay, and
Uh-huh.
but then I think of oh like I'm drawing a blank for a song, but let's just say it's kind of some more more pop song. Oh, I know, Bloodhound Gang. All right, totally,
Yep,
you know, different genre, but it's like, oh
yep,
yeah, I remember Bloodhound Gang, Bad Touch, and then some of the other, because Derek had the CD, and then I ripped it, and I have as a rip, but
mhm,
so anyway, so I'm like, oh, I'll listen to a little bit of their stuff, and oh yeah, I remember that song, yeah, and be out mudding or wheeling, and he'd have this and this there kind of thing. Well, then it'll start mixing a little of that in with the stuff that it's trying to always feed you. But then you'll start getting stuff adjacent to Bloodhound Game, which you may or may not want, but it may be something like some old, like what I call classic hip hop, like, again, you don't necessarily seek out, but it's like, oh, I remember that song, like the Humpty Dance or
Yep.
something like that.
Yep.
It's not something you're going to seek out, but it's like, comes on, you maybe hear it a couple times a year. It's like, oh yeah, remember that. Remember when that was popular, kind of thing.
Mhm.
Something at the skating rink or whatever, some of that 80s, Bon Jovi. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not a fan, but, uh, Living on a Prayer comes on. Oh, maybe y'all listen to that. Maybe not Lil. One of his other lesser known songs.
I was into Bob Jovi. Actually, that's, if you want to get into how I started and everything, that is actually originally how I got into rock.
Okay, I mean, like, I'm just using him as an example
Yeah.
because I like. But then you'll get, but you listen to that, then you'll get Billy Idol
Yeah.
in there, and then shoot. Oh, then maybe you'll get even a little bit of like Supertramp will up in, older but still kind of similar. Well, anyway, that's how I found some variety when I'm tired of listening to just, because again,
What?
I get a lot of AC/DC thrown in there,
Yeah.
and um uh
That was another band I got burnt out of for a long, long time.
I had to take a break from it, but um and here's the thing, I had to take, what I had to take a break from was was a lot of the Brian Johnson, um and it's funny, my relationship with ACD, it's probably my favorite band, I guess, if I had to say. But um but I began listening to ACD as Bon Scott stuff because that was the very, very first. No, it was the second CD I ever bought. First CD was Beatles Rubber Soul. I actually bought in a store because my dad's 8-track broke, and I wanted to listen. But the first CD I bought through like BMG through the mail order. We didn't do Columbia House, but same deal. It was BMG, and I
Yeah.
forget, it was, honestly, I want to say it was like Tyler Carey had a membership or subscription or whatever, and it's like, oh, if and they did the deal, you sign up, get it's like 10 free CDs or something, and
Yep.
I can
Yep.
get, and somebody can pick, and I'd have to buy one CD, and then I could get another for like another two or something for a penny. I think
Yep.
Jody got some Christian rock thing that she was at the time, but I decided to buy AC/DC High Voltage. Technically for studio, the American
Yeah.
one. And I don't get all, oh, it has that. But anyway, so for the longest time, even though AC/DC was still current, fairly current, I um you know grew up on, of course, like 8-tracks and vinyl, what we had in the house and what we would listen to and stuff. So it was things like Fleetwood Mac and Heart and uh well, Beatles. Let's see, Peter Frampton, all that 70s rock that, um some of it's now classic rock, but AC/DC wasn't in there. Led Zeppelin
Mhm.
was, but and so I didn't really listen. Six didn't play that kind of stuff, and we didn't have a classic rock station. So I didn't really even know Brian Johnson AC/DC, really. I mean, of course, I heard Thunderstruck and stuff like that, but like,
Mm-hmm.
what, not regularly. So I thought AC/DC was Bon Scott. You know, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
I I thought that was all there is. So I listened to the crap out of that. That has his most of his good. There
Yeah.
was other, yeah, it's good stuff later. But again, I can almost always listen to a Bon Scott ACD, but a Brian Johnson one, I have to be like I have to be in the
Yeah.
certain one.
I got tired of it. I got tired of ACDC because like you'd hear it on because it would be kind of a classic hit on like KBPI or some station like that. But then also like 101.5 I hear was playing the heck out of them too, and it's like
Yeah,
you get it doesn't matter
double
what rock
dose. Yeah,
station, classic or active, you were still getting dosed with it, and it's like I can't. I love this stuff, but I can't listen to it anymore.
yeah.
Um, but what I was going to say while you're going back to YouTube, how to handle that and stuff. So what I've been doing lately is like if I listen to something or if I start to like I'll watch my music videos and then if by the time I need to get up and out of bed and stuff, if I'm looking through the rest of the playlist and I'm like, this is just I'm not gonna listen to this stuff or whatever. I'll flip over to my Spotify
But you know,
because then
I've heard Spotify can be just as bad too.
so here's the deal. I've got 32,000 songs that I put on a playlist. So I pretty much always get something new.
Well, and maybe
I,
that's
I
more people
created I
complaining
created
about the
such a massive
randomness.
I,
It's not random.
I I created such a massive playlist that um it's always a variety. And it was like I was just talking to my sister about this. It's like it's kind of funny when they send me those oh you listened to this band this year or whatever. It's like for me that's only because you decided my playlist to randomly play it. It's like you could have picked a whole bunch of different bands to play, but you chose the heck out of that one.
You know, it's funny. I used to, and I didn't subscribe to it, but Pandora, I used to, well, I ages, for especially in the garage, got got a PC out in the garage. I used to just fire up Pandora, and it was the ad support ads.
Yeah.
But it's funny, I haven't.
Well, that's what my Spotify and my YouTube are both that way. I
But
mean, I'm not paying for that stuff.
right, right. Well, and same here, same. But I run ad block. Well, okay. I stream it from the PC, so I run ad block. I don't hear ads on you. But anyway, um, it's funny. Once I kind of moved to the YouTube deal, I never, I didn't use Pandora ever again. I didn't, and I guess part of it was ads using ad block, um, but Pandora was more it that I kept getting the same stuff, but with the freebie, it just skipping and picking a song out because I didn't have a playlist. I just let it kind of do recommended, so I would just type in something, and I'd be songs like this or artists like this. I just pick something, or I just pick a genre. But then it was kind of like getting kind of glitchy about, like, okay, I'm done listening to this song. You click it out. It's like, nope, you can't because an ad coming up. would immediately go to an ad, and you wouldn't know what was coming next. You'd have to listen to the ad till, and it just got a little. And I know that's the point. They kind of annoy you with the ads, so then you eventually pay for it.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't see enough value in it.
Oh, see, I have basically moved my whole almost. I don't have it all in there yet, but I've basically moved my whole uh, library of music to Spotify. That's so that when I that's why I say when I when I play my playlist, it's so huge and so massive that um I get random stuff. So I know it's not gonna sit there and play ACDC over and over and over again or whatever.
Yeah, I've been. Thing is though, is I've been picking up, uh, and just I've been going more back to physical media, I guess. Not for like in the garage, and stuff. I will do, but like I'm just gonna listen to and enjoy. Like in the car, I've been they're picking up CDs or like rediscovering my section.
Yeah,
Um,
well, like if there's something I've got a hankering for, um, like say I want to listen to the Metallica Black album or something, I'll just go to YouTube and yeah, there'll be an ad every song, but like that's what I've been doing.
well, and I do.
If I
Well, of course, like at work, I kind of have to work. I put one headphone. Yeah,
yeah,
and sometimes yeah, I will find albums, but again, I use ad blocks, so I don't ads. But I guess when I'm really sitting down to enjoy, I've been listening to all my vinyl, and the kids like it and all that. And then like sometimes our trips. I mean, we listen. I listen to a lot of radio, and it's just between the commercial breaks on the radios when I'll flip into a CD.
mm,
I don't know. I'm not a car. I never kind of really have been a connoisseur of music. I know what I like, and stuff that I want to listen to is usually, like I said, a hankering, or to some of it's to certain things are to bring back a memory or whatever, because
yeah,
you can remember where you were when this song was playing or something.
yeah.
I mean, hell, I've even actually just a couple days ago over my lunch hour, I'll watch lunch. Well, for some reason, it popped into my head, and I think because I saw or somebody did a remix, like some Michael Jackson song. I don't remember what song, but I was like, oh yeah, that was on Moonwalker. Oh yeah, I remember the movie, and like we had it on VHS, and I watched it a lot, and so somebody had the whole damn movie uploaded on YouTube. So, and it's
Mm-hmm.
only like 40 minutes, and I have an hour lunch, so I'm like, so I watched Michael Jackson's Moonwalker
Mm.
over lunch one day. You
You
know.
know, I remember watching it, but like I don't remember being into it too much. But I mean, I think we talked about this before. It was like I was really into his stuff, but like one of the things I really remember is the Disneyland ride,
Oh, yeah.
and
Well,
I was glad I got the chance to actually ride that and see that.
well, it's funny watching the movie now versus then. And again, I knew the height of his, all the news, heard his stuff on the radio. But watching the movie, um, I have a, guess I have a better appreciation for the music and the production. The fact that did all all the parts in one of those songs, and recorded, and they put them together. And of course, the movie, it actually has a flow to it, and it's actually very artful. It isn't just a, there's very few, when you really get down to it, as far as music video goes, there's more than a handful, but there's really, you could say maybe a couple hundred ever since music videos were a thing that are, you could argue, are culturally significant.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And these are really, and thinking about, King of Pop, and thinking about where pop is today with like Taylor Swift and Bruno Mars, or I don't even know who's popular, but in the pop music.
I know too. I don't keep up with pop. I listen to a little bit of it, but I don't keep up with it.
But here's
like, I don't know who.
But here's the thing: I can't believe that almost any of their songs are as like have real meaning, or as a lot of his stuff specifically from that album or that movie.
Well, bringing him up, this is in what you're just talking about and stuff. So, one of the radio stations I was listening to this week, they were talking about the performances of halftime shows and stuff, like, and they were asking who they thought the most iconic ones were and everything, and they said, they don't really remember anything, except for they don't remember some of the older ones. They said that this whole the way they do it now and everything, actually pretty much could go back to starting when Michael Jackson did his halftime show.
Yeah.
Like, they weren't as extravagant as they are now, and that all started with him.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think it was 1990. Say.
Let me cut in front of you, and then you. I was gonna let you.
Okay.
Finish that script.
Oh,
but okay.
But yeah, and to be clear, with Michael Jackson, I only like a very narrow era of his stuff.
See, with me, it's more of not necessarily era. It's more of like I only like certain songs. I don't like his.
And that's what I get at, is there's only certain songs that fit in that era, and it's kind of from Billie Jean to before, or maybe like Man in the Mirror.
Okay, let me. Oh, you're going. I was gonna say, let me actually finish this row this time.
Well,
and
see,
then,
I thought, because that day
instead of this cutting and swerving, like, let's keep it kind of straight.
I know, I should. I was thinking, like, well, there's that stinking tree in the way. It's like, okay, here, we can make a good row here and go back and forth. And that's what I was trying to do. I kind of got screwed up over there. I was going to try to rake it into a row, but yeah.
I got to thinking about picking this all up anyways. It's going to be a mess because there is just so much grass.
I know. We get full so much, or so quickly. It's like, geez, you're going to be clear on the other end of the map, and then you got to be on the other side done, and then
I'm almost thinking maybe we may need to upgrade our mowing equipment.
Yeah, that'd be okay. Got so much here, but I don't know. We do it this way, we'll really make the money, because
that is true. Except for like I'm going through, like, I've got to fill up with gas again.
I'm only about half, but I suppose when I get
I'm like a third. I got a third left, but I was here before you were too.
Oh, that's right. You've been going longer. This is. Oh well, we'll get it done.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it's gonna be a lot to pick up. It's gonna take us a minute.
A couple of weeks or whatever.
This is quite a project.
Let's see, because after we get this what we're on right now, are we done raking or is there more?
No, this is it for raking.
Okay. Well, I guess we could got some time. We could or just skip and pick up next time. I was gonna say maybe just pick up a small area just to get started.
No, I didn't think it's already for me. It's already 11.
Oh yeah,
I didn't
it's
figure
almost.
we'd.
I just was looking at the time and it's like, yeah, once we get this done.
Yeah, I was just sitting here thinking it's like we've got such a big area, and we might want to rethink about how we. But you're also right about the about well, if we can get it done with this stuff. But there is more efficient ways to do this.
Oh, no doubt. But
I mean, we may we may have to take a break and do a different map.
yeah, and that'd be fine too.
Just to kind of take a break from this.
Yeah, that might be.
Like keep this one going, but just maybe throw in a different map every once in a while. There are some maps at least I can think of at least one more, maybe a few more that I kind of wanted to have you guys play, whether it's just you and me or whether it's you, me, and Derek. Kind of like what was it? Oh, Bucks County, kind of like that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's another one. Definitely wanted to do with you guys. We may do that though. I may start thinking about like alternating maps or something.
Yeah.
Although we haven't been on this. We haven't been. I think we went on another couple week hiatus again.
Yeah. Well, and this didn't work out
Last week, yeah.
Week, and before that, I forget. I was.
Okay, I'm gonna go get that middle piece, and then I think this part is. Oh, there's a little.
Yeah, there's a little triangle over here, but I'll be able to. Why don't you go get fuel just so we're full for next?
I can do that. Yeah, because the little loaders that we have, little loading wagons that we have, to pick all this up is gonna take a while.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they get full so quick.
Yeah. We thought we were being smart buying more ground.
Yeah. Well, that's the deal. You just got to go over there.
What I was thinking of doing is like, yes, I was thinking about maybe upgrading equipment, but I was also thinking about seeing what else was out there vintage wise that could maybe handle a different mower setup. And
Didn't mind the mowers so much, but
that's what I was kind of thinking. Let's maybe like I don't mind these tractors like on these windrows or something, but maybe adding another tractor and changing up our mower setup and so they're a little bit wider so they can take a bigger path and then Might want to think about upgrading the loader wagons. So they'll need something bigger too. I don't know. I'll think about it. Because there's so many different. Well, I mean, there's there's a whole bunch of different tractors we could have. We can keep these. I have no problem keeping these. But we might want to look to see if there's something to improve our farm game a little bit. Our mowing game. There we go. I'm gassed up. I should repair since I'm here. Yeah, but I'm just thinking like since I'm here, I might as well do it. There's plus like I was noticing the mower that I was using was really kind of worn down, and it's
Well, I
like,
noticed.
well,
Yeah, I noticed mine was appearance. I figure that's what you're
it's
kind of
just
talking about.
yeah. The paint is, and it's like, wait a minute, these were granted we've mowed one stream already, but man, these were brand new mowers when
Yeah,
like like 2 streams ago. These were brand new mowers, and they're already
I know. We really worked them hard.
yeah. All right, I'm on my way back.
I was hooking up just to see, does it show you? I guess it doesn't really show you the condition.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't show you the condition. You have to take it to the shop and just, or you have to go into a you have to go into the menu and it'll tell you how many hours are on it and stuff.
Well, there's one brand new one.
Yeah,
Never
that was
used it.
Derek's.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because like wear and tear looks identical the way they.
Well, yeah, that one's new.
Yeah. Yeah, because even they got kind of bash into the side. Huh.
Well, yeah, because it's just a computer generated program.
Oh, I know. I thought maybe you'd have a little, if, you know, how these people are. They'd put,
Yeah,
so like it would look just a little bit different line versus.
yeah.
suppose. Well, down.